Yeah, I'll call. Here we go. Okay. Uh, it's not telling me. Oh, here we go. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I'm really excited to have my guest today. It's one of our regular shows we do with the great Pink Bella Aloha. And I'm sorry I'm late. I was looking for my light on my desk for the remote for my light, and I couldn't find it. So and I was also sharing out the podcast. So I wanted you guys to show up. So today we're going to be talking about 2026 predictions, Galactic Akashic Records. I wrote today on the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I welcome back Pink Bella Aloha for another powerful live session featuring Galactic Akashic Records, readings, intuitive insight, and future timeline decoding. In this episode, we'll explore 2026 predictions, what's coming energetically and globally, Galactic Akashic Records, Soul Mission, Starseed Origins, 3-Eye Atlas remote viewing, what's on the moon base, UFO Disclosure in 2026, and we'll even do some live audience call-ins. Like I'll fire that up here in a second. And a little bit about my guest. Pink Bella specializes in deep dives into the Galactic Akashic Records for clarity and soul mission, clearing personal and ancestral contracts, patterns, and karmic loops, ascension way shower, preparing starseeds and lightworkers for the 5D new earth, quantum dimensional, multi-dimensional healing, dragon activations and training, divine goddess codes and activations. And she's also a higher self liaison and galactic council transmissions. And, you can find her website at alohapinkbella.weebly.com, and her email is alohapinkbella@gmail.com. And then we're on her YouTube today. So welcome all her people from her YouTube. And Pink Bella, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm super excited to be here. Happy New Year, because I haven't seen you to wish you a Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. I know it's the 14th, but before you know it, it's going to be December, right? So I'm doing good. I'm super excited to be here. I think it's already been 2 weeks into the year, right? So a lot has already happened. So I think we can have and you guys have asked a lot of really good questions today. Rob and I are up for it. You just shoot them at us and we'll pick and choose. Rob's really good at that as well. But yeah, I'm doing good. And welcome everyone. I'm so grateful to be here. Yeah, I'm live on my YouTube and also my Starseed Facebook page too. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Let me see here. I'm going to log into callinstudio.com. But where did you want to start today? What were you thinking?
Well, why are you doing that? Why don't I, because this is the first time I've been on your show this year, why don't I just ask and pull a couple of cards just for all of us? Like what we need to, just like an overview of like what we think. I'm not even going to do the whole year. Let's just do remainder of January 2026. I'll just pull a couple of cards and then we'll go into whatever topics. And if you guys like for questions to see us, maybe type it in caps or something. And then Rob can sort of see the questions a little bit more for sure. Okay, we are open. All right. So I've got the Emerald Tablet. The Galactic Akashic Records are open. I opened them while we were waiting. And I have solar light upgrades. And then I'll just pull one more and I'll just bring in a couple little messages. Oh, we have Inner Earth. That's interesting. So I have a question about the Inner Earth. If any of you have been having dreams about like being in the Inner Earth, being in the tunnels, let me know, because I feel like that's a theme with some of you. I feel like you, even though you might not want to, your Starseed galactic self is part of the underground mission teams. So, so that came in as well. This is also about the root chakra. How's everyone's root chakra doing? Are you grounded? That super full moon was not pleasant on the 3rd. That was a tough one. And the good news is that's the last super full moon we have until like the fall. So that's good. What else did they want me to share about that? Yeah, it's super important. One of the themes this month and this year is to find ways that to keep yourself grounded. Okay, like nature, salt, foot baths, essential oils, crystals, that kind of thing. Solar light upgrade. Yeah, we're going to continue to have solar flares and solar DNA upgrades. We've already had a couple of M-class flares. So, and we've had some timeline jumps too. We've had the Schumann resonance has got the blackout, so that's a timeline jump. So that can be collective and personally. So, when that happens, we kind of wake up in the morning disoriented. Like we don't know where we are and what's going on. Okay. So this is interesting. This is about the solar plexus. So we're not only being guided to be grounded, but we're also being guided to like call our power back, set boundaries, Don't be just hanging out with people and listening to their problems all day, unless that's what you do. Unless if you do that for a living, right? But otherwise, like, it is a drain on our energy and it gets our mind going. So we're to really continue to set boundaries with people. Now this is interesting, the Emerald Tablet activation. So that is, it's about conscious manifesting with the universe. So we are going to start noticing whatever we're focusing on, whatever we're thinking about, whatever we're saying is going to manifest. It's going to start manifesting more in our reality. So the key is, don't complain to other people about your reality. Don't focus. So this is what came in my little mini reading this week. Don't focus, even though this is what we do. Don't focus 24 hours a day on the conspiracy stuff. Because what I've been getting is the other teams, the back end teams that want to drag this all out for us, they want us to manifest that.
Yeah.
They want us to manifest this low vibrational, let's drag it out, let's pit all the teams together. So we're all smart enough. You know, we're smart enough right now. We should be able to see the psyops when they're coming. So just a reminder that we are consciously manifesting all the time. And you know what I did during Christmas and through to the New Year, except when I was on your show, Rob, I shut it all out. I didn't pay attention to any of it because my brain needed a break. Because look at, like, right off the bat, like the first week of the year, there's always going to be something crazy going on every single day. So those are our little tips for at least this month. So that I think that starts us off good.
I love that. Yeah. I think that's a great start to it. And what did you find out about 3i Atlas? What is going on with that? Like,
okay. Oh, I just got my gob bump, so we're supposed to talk about that. So, and if you all have any questions, let me, type them in the chat. So I did a remote view with 3i Atlas like in October, I think. And so I hadn't really done a remote view, and I think we talked about it at the end of December. So I did a little remote view last Friday, and I'm getting my gob bumps. I did get confirmation. It's kind of like a holodeck ship.
wow.
So think about the holodecks on Star Trek, and think about, like, even the Doctor, in Voyager, how he was a hologram.
Yeah.
But then they ended up giving him a device so he could start moving around and being more solid and being on the ship and everything. So that was the first thing, because that was the question I asked. And then the second question I asked them, and they confirmed that, the second question I asked them was, okay, so I expected to have this ship experience, and that's what I had. So if the other remote viewers were expecting other things like dark ETs or whatever, was that mirrored back to them? Like, was that their experience? And they said yes. So they set that up kind of like as a defense mechanism, and also in a way of, like, they wanted everyone to have their experience, like whatever they wanted. But they also shared with me they're not on there. There's not really anybody on 3i Atlas. There's holograms. It's like a holodeck, and there's AI, like the Doctor. I don't know what he's called, like a hologram, I guess. So they're those, and then they are all collecting data, and then that's like a protection mechanism. They said they didn't want to disturb the natives on Earth in case, like, a lot of people, they didn't know if, like, probes were going to be sent out, and there was all this crazy stuff. And you and I both know we don't actually know what's going on out there. Like, we want to look at the moon today because we don't really know, like, how advanced our technology is. Like, are we just being fed like this spoon fed a little bit, right? So they said they're on a big light ship that's around. It's in the neighborhood, but they're not actually on 3i Atlas. So that's what they shared.
Wow, that's interesting. So what is 3i Atlas then? Is it like what is 3i Atlas then? Is it just like a I don't know. Is it sent to, like?
They said it was like a science. They said it was like a scientific exploration, like, device. So they said, like, they're in inner galaxy. They're still here. I mean, they're heading towards Jupiter, but they won't be there till the middle of March. Which I find all the dates super interesting. Like, this is how I know. Like, this is how I knew there was something else going on, because they knew to be closest to Earth at the solstice. And now they're going to be closest to Jupiter at the equinox, right? Like, you can't make this up. This is just hilarious. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out, like, the date thing is hilarious. So they said that they've been collecting data on our planet, on all the planets, and they've also been doing repair work. And then they've been sending the information back to the other ship, and they're making decisions based on that. So
Wow.
they're kind of like, there's other, there's higher up alliances working on behalf of Prime Source that want us to succeed, because if we don't succeed, if there's a big problem here on Earth, it's going to be this ripple effect energetically for the whole galaxy and universe. Like that, we've already gone through enough like turmoil on the planet, as well as like with the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria. We've had planets blowing up in the galaxy. Like that creates such disruption and it puts everyone back. And the whole idea is like we've been in this quarantine. Oh, I saw something super interesting about that. We've been in a quarantine because we all have been manifesting without even knowing that we were manifesting before we even got to this point. So let's say we all watched a horror movie together and that scared the you know what out of us. We all would have been manifesting whatever we saw. And then those beings a copy of them end up out in the astral. So I thought that was a super good take on that. So that's why that conscious manifesting, we have to really start training our mind to consciously manifest positive things, because otherwise the quarantine is going to, go on for a lot longer. So they came in to kind of monitor us, and then they also to, give feedback, do repairs. That the device that they sent out to the moon to help the moon, we can talk how you were. I woke up the Sunday of this after the moon, and I felt like I had a moon hangover, and I haven't felt like that for like 10 years. It was awful. Yeah, it was awful. I was okay by the end of the day, but I just felt all this really heavy, icky energy. And what they shared with me, and that's why they were kind of still around. They shared with me like they're modulating, like they drop something off and they're trying to repair those frequencies, like make them better. But they also felt like if a lot of us have been working with the moon cycles, which I had been, many of us have been. Like I had worked with the moon cycle for years, right? So they were just sharing that those of us that have been working with the moon cycles, stuff might have come up to the surface to clear, because it was like false information. It's like they were the old moon before all of this was sending, we know, right? The full moon and the new moon, how crazy everybody gets. So they know that was the plan with that moon. So now they're trying to adjust it, because, if they came out, if it happened like they dragged the moon away, that would actually probably traumatize more of the planet than them trying to fix it right now. So that's what they're trying to do. So I had to go back into my records and I had to clear all the times that I had used the moon for manifestation.
Yeah.
And the message was, don't do that anymore. Don't hand your manifestations over to the moon energy. Do manifest every day. And I've talked about that too, Rob. Like, remember you were saying like there always seemed to be a pause with the moon. Well, that was actually a positive thing, because right. So there were all these, I was the same. We were like, put your crystals under the moonlight and do this, that, and the other thing, not understanding that it's not actually a natural planetary body, and that the frequencies that we're sending out were not positive. So I had to go back to when I started doing that, which was maybe 2011 and 12. And I cleared it out of my energy field and my records. So I'm okay now. But, and this makes so much more sense. We should be manifesting every day. We are manifesting every day, right? So we shouldn't focus and I'm just in the same boat. I still have a lot of moon stuff on my channel, and I probably will still share when there are moons, because I think we still need to know when the cycles are. I think that that's important, so that we know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Be on high alert. Okay, super full moon, so we know what's going on. Because I still feel that that's intel right now, but it's interesting. I can't remember who I spoke with, but you probably have had people on your channel that there's indigenous tribes that have stories about when there was no moon.
Yeah, they say it was towed in here. Like it was like
that's what I want to look at today, because I think I sent you a clip. There's a John Lear video. He was being interviewed. I don't know if it was the late 80s. And he had all this intel because of his technology. I think even for the Lear jets, I feel like that was galactic.
Wow.
I feel like that was handed to him. So he said, yeah, the moon was towed in. It was towed in from Jupiter. He also said there's like 40 planets out in our galaxy, at least 40. And there's all these different moons and everything, and that it got towed in. And I only got that little clip. I haven't found the whole interview, so I don't know why they towed it in, but he said it was a long time ago. Like it got towed in. He said the information he had, it was 15,000 years ago.
Wow, 15,000 years ago. That's a long time,
And have you all noticed? I've been getting feedback from some of my team as well, The moon will just show up in a different place. It's like they can't quite figure out where it was. So one night it'll be here, and then the next night it'll be over here. Like they can't, and I think in a way they're kind of doing that on purpose. Like they want us to really say, hey, what's going on here? That makes no sense.
Yeah. Something's up with it, right? It's, so they want us to question it, I guess.
I think so, yeah. And I wanted to sort of like, I was just going to ask if that's where we want to start. I was going to just ask the records, what do we need to know about the moon today? Like, it's obviously, I mean, it's a base. Through Atlas told me it was a satellite. Yeah. So I think that I'm hoping that's going to be some of the intel that comes out this year. But I have regular people just messaging me going, how come the moon was over here last night? And then like the next night it was there. And I find sometimes it's out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Wow.
Like they forgot to turn it on.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Like the full moon's only supposed to go on for maybe like 4 or 5 days, and it's like, oh, it's still in the sky, right? So yeah, so just keep an eye on the questions. And why don't I just ask, like, what do we need to know about the moon base? Is there anything in particular that's going to come forward in 2026? Because maybe that's going to be some of the intel that we're all going to start questioning about that. Okay, so we have the 9 of Pentacles. We have the Death card. And we have the Knight of Cups. Well, that's interesting. I'll do a clarification too. So 9 of Pentacles, which is a completion. So whatever information is going to come out for us, we're actually going to feel quite like more at peace about it. Like the truth will come out because of us, even you and I having this conversation. It's going to ripple. It's going to ripple through, and everyone's going to start looking at the moon and questioning the moon now. So we're completing with what we always thought the moon was. And then we have the Death card, which is actually connected to the Scorpio energy. So yeah, and you know what? I mean, it's interesting the moon card didn't come forward, but that's actually what the moon card means. The moon card actually means death and rebirth, and this is more about transformation. But what I'm hearing is that by Scorpio season, we're not going to believe what the moon was. We're going to know what it is, what it actually is. Like all of that information can't be hidden anymore. And then we have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, so that's going to be like we're going to have like the truth is going to come out for all of us, which is good. And like who needs a crazy device out?
Yeah, really.
Or maybe they'll just upgrade it. Because I did hear that there was another one. I heard that suddenly NASA was saying there was a second moon that was going to be in our atmosphere near the other moon. So yeah, let me know if any of you like you've seen anything, read anything, because I can't keep up with everything. Let me just do so clarification card is the Hanged Man, which is oh wow. It's where it's been making us all really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That moon energy has just been making us feel super uncomfortable. Rob, do you remember? So that would have been the first weekend of the month. Do you remember how you were feeling through that super full moon?
I felt horrible. Yeah, I felt horrible. Like, yeah, absolutely. You know, like it was really bad. It really was. But it was weird because like it seemed like the energy was up a little bit. Like at times I felt really good too. It's really weird. I can't really put my finger on it because then I was like manifesting too. Like I was able to manifest. So it was like, it didn't make sense. You know what I mean? It didn't make sense. Like, I don't know.
Well, that it kind of makes sense because if it had originally been set up as a frequency to block our manifestations or to attack, like they gave me this message that there were like, I had to scan for something called moon nodes.
Yeah.
So there were moon nodes that had been planted in some of my Stargate systems based on the manifestation process that I kept doing with the moon. So so those are gone now. Yeah. They were like access points. Like I think I had a really weird dream that night too. So I knew something was up. So it makes sense. We should because we shouldn't be handing our power over to the moon, and that shouldn't be blocking our manifestations. So think about, just try to think about like anything we think is a signal blocker. Like we're on a radio station. We have a frequency to manifest with the universe. And then they were sending out things to block it or hijack it. So that would have been the other team. So I think what's interesting is 3i Atlas sent something to start to stabilize those frequencies, so that makes sense. And I agree with you. You know what? The night of the super full moon, I had so much energy. Like I decluttered in my home, and I got a whole bunch of donation bags organized. Like I was just like a an ever ready bunny kind of thing. And then it was the next morning that I woke up feeling really, really weird. So the energy was feeling off for sure.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, we just want it to be, if it needs to be in the sky for a period of time, we want it to be neutral. We don't want it interfering. Yeah. So, I used to, before all of this, I used to like it because it reminded me that there are other planets, right? It was reminded that there are other planets in our solar system because a lot of them are so far away. So like initially I liked it. But it also, I just had a client session with someone in Australia, and we were sort of getting into the fact that it seemed to be a portal that would be used for like not only the dark ETs, but like the SSP, like the military stuff. Like they would come out and do all their woo-woo weird stuff through the moon cycles.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So they're using it to, that makes sense. That would make sense. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Well, I got confirmation from this individual because he actually started to piece together that when he saw a lot of these groups of beings that would just show up, that it was usually around the moon cycles. And that's what I was given. I was given for him to kind of like lay low until we know that it's all stabilized for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And let's see. We don't want to take calls yet, right? We don't want to.
Whenever you want to take a call.
Do you want people to do 2026 predictions too, or are we going to do that?
Yeah, right? For sure. Yeah. And I was going to say, does anybody else want to ask anything about the moon?
Right? Does anybody have any questions about the moon, or if anybody wants to call in, you can call in 573-877-7637. And I like what Jerry Lahane said. Jerry Lahane says, like, share, and subscribe, and jump over the moon, he says.
That's right. That's right. Well, yeah. So I'm just thinking, so we think about even like these childhood books that had all these stories about the moon, like they've been perpetuating it for so long, right? So, and we wouldn't know, our whole lives, the moon has been here. Like it's just another piece of information that we accepted for sure. So I love that. I sent the clip to Rob, and then I messaged him. I couldn't remember if you had John Lear or his son on your show, because I remember thinking, so that information's been right in our face for a long time. So I can't remember if he was an astronaut or if he had just worked for the military or something. I'm not too sure.
Hey, John, no, his dad like invented the Learjet. John Lear.
Yeah. And it was John Lear that I sent the clip for you. Like it was actually him that was interviewed. Yeah, and that's resurfaced. Yeah,
he was like influential in the early Area 51 disclosure, because what he
I was just gonna say, it feels to me like he was part of the Area 51, the one. Yeah, so I feel like he was working with all that technology.
Like what would happen was him and Bob Lazar and like Jim Goodall, who's still around today, like a couple of those guys, they would go out, and Sean David Morton, who passed away. Sean David Morton was there too. They would all go out to Area 51, and Sean David Morton knew when they would fly the government UFOs, and they would all go watch it. Jim Goodall told me they had to wear certain kinds of pants, or they had to wear like hip wader boots, because he said there's scorpions out in the desert and they can sting you. But they knew about this, and they would go watch it. Then they would call Art Bell from the Little Alien Inn, which is like the Little Alien Inn's like right by there, and they would call Art Bell from a payphone, and they would report to Art Bell like what was
Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to track down some of those episodes, because I think that would be super, like, that's like, that's like us looking things up on Google. That's like firsthand information.
Yeah.
What was happening for sure. So, so it's interesting, because when that clip came my way, I was like, oh, that's totally true. Right. Like and so he had all this intel about there's at least 40 planets in our galaxy that we haven't been told about. And the whole narrative of the 3-letter, 4-letter agencies is to perpetuate the story that there's nothing.
Yeah. I agree.
So that makes sense even with 3i Atlas. Like as soon as it started to get close to Mars and there was a lot of activity, then everything got shut down for at least a month.
They don't want anybody to know what there's other stuff out there for whatever reason. They want it to be like a big.
They still want us to be like children, that there's nothing else out there, right? The other thing is, what was it? The other thing that happened. Keep talking because it just slipped out of my head.
Well, we got a bunch of cool questions that came in. Good. So this one's from Danny Hawk. She says, since the moon isn't natural, is that why women have PMS?
Oh, probably. I just got God bump, so that's a yes. Let's pull a card. I used to. So I remember, and this was after my awakening in 2011, like my reawakening, right? I used to that's how I knew what had just happened was off, because I thought, I haven't felt like this since like way back in 2014, 15. I used to dread the full moons and the new moons. Like I felt like I was crawling out of my skin. It was awful. It was awful. So yeah. So wow. I feel like I feel like the frequency was a real disruptor for the divine feminine natural flow. Wow. Let's see. Like flow is an intuitive flow. Like flow is in like feeling natural and feeling supported. Okay. Yeah. So we have the King of Wands and we have the Queen of Cups and the Moon. I love when it just pops out. There you go. That's confirmation. So yeah. So absolutely, that's what the Queen of Cups is. The Queen of Cups is very much like emotional and intuitive. So absolutely, it was set up to impact, especially the divine feminine. And the King of Wands, which is interesting. So this is kind of a dual message. King of Wands for me in this deck, like, is connected to 3i Atlas, so they're aware of this. Like, if the divine feminine energy within all of us can't be balanced, and if it keeps getting disrupted through the moon cycles, we're not ever going to get anywhere. So that was part of like what they balanced. But the King of Wands is also about, like, I feel like it's part of the old elite that's still here that would prefer us not to be balanced. They would prefer to have that narrative continue on and keep us all distorted and separated and that kind of thing. So yeah, so absolutely, that is a confirmation. The moon. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. Yeah, they set it up.
We got another one. This one's from Kelly Hughes. She says, "Is the moon a hollow satellite or soul trap recycling center? Do we believe?"
I think it's both, but I'm actually curious to know if it still is. Yeah, because 3i Atlas called it a satellite. And a soul trapping recycling. Yeah, I think it's both. But let's ask about the satellite first, and then we'll go on to the soul trap. See what you got today. So that is a 3 of Swords. Yeah, my brain's not working today. So that is like it. Yeah, it. Okay, let me just pull a couple more cards. I get the right information. King of Pentacles and Knight of Swords. So they're saying it's not only a hollow satellite, but it's been a big piece of equipment for the galactic battle, like to cause a lot of heartache and stress and anxiety for all of us. And for some reason, it also was, it's been used, the frequencies have been used to perpetuate the lack and poverty consciousness on the planet. So they've been using the signals to send out that information that only so many people can create abundance and that kind of thing. So there you go. That's what that's all about. It's not just a satellite. They were using it for all sorts of things. Let's ask about the soul. I know it was being used as a soul trapping recycling center. So let's see if it still is. I hope not. Let's have an update about that. We have the 8 of Wands. We have the 4 of Pentacles. We have the 5 of Cups. That's super interesting. Okay. And we have the King of Pentacles. So it looks to me like that's why the advice is not to be using the moon energy to manifest. Like, use it all the other time. And then I would say, like, the day of the full moon and the day of the new moon, like, even though that's what we've been told for years, don't do it, because that's what they were using. They were using that to cap our abundance and prosperity, our manifest. So, like, we send our manifestations out and they kind of, this is interesting. They're not talking about the soul trapping. They're talking about our manifestations being captured. and blocked. So that's what they were using it for. And then that would create Five of Cups. That would create a lot of distress, especially for those of us who are awake, right? Because it would make us think that we lost our abilities, that we couldn't co-create with the universe. And again, it was about abundance and prosperity. I want a clarification about the Eight of Wands. I'm going to ask again about the soul trap because I think, okay, this is the clarity. It still is doing it on a certain timeline.
Wow.
So the Seven of Cups. So it's like, set your intention to don't use that energy, but set the intention that you are on the timeline where you can co-create with the universe. And also, I think with the soul trapping thing, yeah, it's still happening to a certain degree with certain individuals. So those who aren't aware. And you can start, so the soul trapping experience, you might have a contract that you've done that before. Most of us have, like in client sessions, I found that most of us have had that. So we want to clear that, and we want to say we're sovereign and we don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. So, right. So we won't have to worry about that. I actually, when my dad transitioned, I didn't even know all of this yet, but I knew enough about the soul trap recycling, and I wanted to make sure that he got to go home. So I actually called in my galactic team at that time, and I just said, wrap him in light and take him home. Like, I don't want him to be, yarded off somewhere else. So that's what they did. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. They're saying in like about 8 weeks, we're going to notice a little, like a better frequency. So we'll see what happens.
Wow.
So yes, on a lower timeline, like in the 3D matrix, it's still potential. Yeah. So, what's a good piece of advice, like what I just shared. So we all have family members that aren't really conscious, right? They don't know any of this information. And if any of you end up in that position where you're having to support or help a family member who goes into the hospital, etc., you can actually work with source guides, the angels, to help that individual. If they don't know, you can set an intention for them that they not be recycled.
Wow, that's good to know. I mean, that's really good to know, honestly. Yeah, because it's crazy that it's still going on, though. It's crazy that they're still trying to recycle people to this day. It's like, man.
I think the movie has not gotten farther along than we thought at the moment. You can see that pretty well out in 3D. That there's a lot of crapola going on out there. And I don't to me, it makes no logical sense that we have to keep going through these scenarios that create so much suffering. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. So that to me means that there's still a lot of different species down here who are interested in playing that game.
Wow.
Right, they're interested in playing that game. So, and I'll give you an example. I just had a family member that went into the hospital like a couple days after Christmas. And apparently and on Christmas Day, before I got into the city, apparently he fell. And I thought, did he fall or was he pushed? Because I've been pushed before.
Yeah.
By an energetic being that was cloaked. I didn't understand it, but I knew that I had been pushed by something. And anyway, the other really weird thing that happened was they took him to emergency, and then they kept him in emergency. They kept saying there were no beds. So he literally was there for 8 days, not getting any sleep, not getting any proper care. And I remember thinking, okay, there's something really weird going on, because the thing is that hospitals don't want anybody in the hospital unless they have to. They usually just say do A, B, and C, and they kick you out.
Yeah.
So I went to source and I called in the angels and the dragons. I said, if he has to stay there, you need to move him, because otherwise he's not going to make it. And they did move him. He just actually went home yesterday, which is really good. But they literally moved him within another day. He never did get his own room.
Wow.
He still had to sleep out on the hall somewhere, but at least it was quieter. But I was like, yeah, there's so much weird stuff going on, with all of that. So we have to be sort of diligent with our family members and help them if we can, for sure.
Yeah. Man, it's kind of sad what hospitals do to people. You know what I mean? Like they they definitely don't seem like they have our best interest in mind. I don't.
No. And that would explain, like, even when I was a kid, I didn't like going to visit people with my parents would say, oh, we're going to go visit so-and-so. And I never liked it. I was really uncomfortable because that we don't really, we know what the hospital says it's doing, but then we don't really know what else they're doing.
Exactly. That's a good point. Yeah.
So, yeah. I know somebody just said Canada is the worst. I honestly, okay, so I felt like, my family members that were going through this, and it was far away, so all I could do was energetic and crystal grids and stuff. But I kind of felt like in a way they needed to see how bad it is. Like part of it I felt was a lesson so they could actually see how bad it is. Like you can't even get a room. Apparently the rooms are only for people from surgery. And I'm thinking, well, how many people are having surgery? Like a lot of people just go in with injuries, right? And then the other message I got was that there were wards that were empty and they were closed because they don't have the staff.
Wow.
Right. And then, so everyone thinks our system's great because you get supposed help. But the thing is that, so he was in the hospital for 2.5 weeks. He never got a room at all.
Wow.
Right. And you can't get a private room. You can't the system is just, it's not good either. It's a bit of a mess. So moral of the story is to stay at the hospital if you can. Can't always do that. Right.
Yeah. When you said they didn't have people there, like, is that because like it's like getting hard to find people to work anywhere nowadays? Like, I mean, like more people working from home, or like, what do you think's going on?
Well, this hospital was built, I don't know, can't remember when it opened, maybe 10 years ago. It's this huge like research hospital. That's the reason they opened it, so they could have so many beds. I'm thinking, why were they not able to? The message I got was, no, there's wards there that are empty. And they don't have, I think during the lockdowns, I think so many of the healthcare workers went through so much. I think a lot of people left. I think a lot of people moved away. They probably can't hire enough people. There's all these different things, but wow. Oh, that's so sad. I'm just watching Joyful Jennifer, what she said. Yeah. I think I've had like discussions with people on my channel. Our healthcare sounds great, everyone, but you could be, like I said, you could be stuck somewhere and not get any care. You could be told like, oh, you have to wait for this. I think the whole thing is it's not great everywhere. It's not great in your country either. There's all these sort of hiccups and paperwork and all that kind of stuff. But it's I kind of asked the universe to intervene on his behalf, because he went in with a knee injury and I could see that he was getting depleted. I could see that he was losing hope. He wasn't able to sleep. So I could just see like, oh, they're wearing him down. Like that seems to be the agenda. And none of the nurses were helping him at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So I sent him the big guns. So anyway, good news is he's home and I'm so glad for that. Like it did turn. So when I did that, like I got fed up. I said, no, I can't be there. But I said, like, cut through the red tape. Within 24 hours, a doctor showed up.
Wow.
And said, we're going to move him. And it took them another day, but they were able to move him into a ward where he could sleep and receive proper care. So, and I had another friend helping me too. It wasn't just me, but I just got, sometimes we can override the energetic red tape of whatever they're trying to do because it's a low vibration. Yeah. So that was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was just reading what other people had to say. Hillbilly Herb says Canadian health care. Wait, let me see. So he said Canadian healthcare is nothing but a nightmare in my experience. I swear many of the practitioners have negative attachments who are feeding on loosh.
Yeah.
You would agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Let's pull some cards about that. That's what I was feeling like. I was feeling like, why are they keeping him in this? Okay, so he was in emergency during the super full moon.
Wow.
So they were like, my sister would send me messages. Oh, there's people screaming and like he had anxiety and like, it's just. I was lighting candles for him and sending him all sorts of light because I remember thinking I wouldn't survive in that. Like you're surrounded by all the Looney Tunes. So anyway, thankfully, I just said, forget it. I intervened with energetically and I said, no, I'm not. This whole like, oh, it's all divinely orchestrated. Not always. Right. And that's what I think. I don't know, let's look in general. Yeah, let's look in general. Like, are they still looshing at the hospital? Because I found it interesting that there were all these nurses at the desk and they weren't helping him or anybody. They were
Wow.
just sitting at their desks and they were kind of cranky too. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
yeah. So we have that's a yes. So yeah, they're still looshing at the hospitals.
That would make sense, Yeah.
That's probably why a lot of us don't like them. I mean, we don't, sometimes you end up there. You can't help it. Sometimes you end up in an accident or you have to go. And that's what happened with my family member. He ended up having a fall and he hit his bad knee. So luckily, I mean, it was no fracture, but still.
Yeah.
He was there for 2 weeks. So I knew it was serious, but I also felt it was kind of an agenda that they were keeping him in this weird location. Like, why wouldn't they have moved him after a couple of days? Why would you keep somebody in emergency when there's nothing in emergency? They weren't helping him. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I understand. I can't believe, like Jennifer was saying, somebody here on the West Coast couldn't get the proper health care, so they've gone to the East. That's crazy.
Wow. That's a big thing here in Pittsburgh. Like, a lot of people come to Pittsburgh because of like our healthcare. We have Children's Hospital. It's like one of the supposedly like there's a lot of good. I mean, I'm not saying good. I mean, because I don't know for sure, but there's a lot of healthcare on the East Coast. I mean,
yeah, that makes sense actually. I think because of the population, there would be like a lot of different types of hospitals. We used to have that, like in the 80s. We do still have a children's hospital, but the thing is that if everybody's coming from all these different areas in the province to go to the hospitals, then there's no room at the inn, right? And the other weird thing is they closed some of them down. So we used to have a lot more hospitals. They closed them down and they never replaced them. So yeah, but definitely high alert kind of X-Files stuff at the hospital.
Wow.
If you work at one, I would cloak up. And if you're going to help friends or family there, cloak up and make sure you're setting intentions for them because they don't know. Yeah. It's like they're like sitting ducks or something. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we could look at, I don't know. Yeah. What, have we heard anything about the med beds and anything like that recently?
No, I mean, I was wondering about that too. I was wondering like what was going on with that, but nothing. I haven't heard anything,
Do we want to look at it and see if we're going to have that coming out for us in 2026?
That would be great. Yeah.
Okay. We have the Emperor. We have the Hermit. We have the Queen of Cups. That's interesting. So there's potential, yeah, for the information to become more mainstream this year. It's like so I'm working with a different team than I was last year. I'm not working with the Galactic Alliance anymore. I'm working with Prime Source Alliance, which is more connected to the Galactic Records, and they're kind of overseeing how we're all doing. So in this case, I would consider this like whatever we want to call it, the white hats, the white military, the groups down here working behind the governments that are trying to move us all forward. And it's interesting because this is kind of in a way like we're coming out of that. And it's like the Prime Source Alliances are watching all of us now to see if it's the right time. And what's interesting is then the Queen of Cups came forward, and that's kind of connected to, it's like they have to do the moon repair stuff first.
Yeah.
So maybe that also, the moon technology is also interfering with the medbed technology because it's a higher frequency. Let me just pull another clarity card about it, because this is potentially a yes and this is too. But I feel like whatever position it was in the last few years coming from, it's been handed over to a higher council now because they've been dragging everything out. Well, so as an example, look at how long it's taking for things like fluoride, like all that information about fluoride in the water, how long it's taking for that to come out. So
yeah, there's something to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming out. And I just saw Robert Kennedy Jr. make not Robert, is that right? Yeah, that's right. that he just made an announcement about it, but it takes so long. Like there's all these committees and red tape, and there's just, it could be the whole year before that's like officially. So we'll see what happens. So, and the Page of Pentacles, so it's in the beginning stages. So it's potential to come out this year, but no like real confirmation. No.
Let me see here.
So everybody be preventative and take care of your health.
Yeah, for real. I think with everything that's going on, you know, it's scary, right? You know, it's really scary.
Yeah, I just had this memory. So because as a kid, I never liked the hospitals, right? Like I always got kind of queasy. So to me, that queasy energy now is the dark ETs. So as a kid, I was already picking up on that energy in the hospitals. But the other memory I had, oh shoot, it just slipped out. What was it? I had a spider bite in Mexico like a million years ago. And I didn't know it was a spider bite. I just had some bites. And when I came back to Canada, it started to get infected. So I went, to the MD, I got antibiotics, but it was too late. So I had to say to my mom, you have to take me to emergency. So she's like going, oh no. She's really sick because she's asked to go to emergency. So, it was horrible, like how they had to repair me. It was really, really painful, but they wanted to keep me overnight. And I was like, no, you're not keeping me. Because I already back then, I was in my early 20s. I'm already like, well, what if something happens? What if some weird thing, and that was before the X-Files. I thought, what if something happens and I just disappear? So I was like, no, you can just tell me what I need to do at home. And if it's bad, I'll come back. So they let me go home. But I was like, nope, not staying.
Well, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Love Light 4444. Do you have a question? Jason said maybe we should do a poll for the Iran situation. What do you think?
Sure. I don't even know what's going on. So fill me in.
Oh my God, there's a blackout and they're like fighting for their freedom.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, because sorry, I was watching like a truthers show the other day to get caught up, and I totally forgot because of course it's been blocked on mainstream media, right? So isn't there a like their internet's been taken down and all of that as well?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Sorry. It's just because I've been trying not to pay attention. Look, every day there's something big going on, like it's too much. So let's see what's going on for Iran. Yeah, for sure. So we have the 6 of Cups. And if you all have the latest intel, if you've heard something as well, type it in the comments so we know what's really happening. Queen of Pentacles, because of course we're just going to be getting like little blips from people, right? Four of Swords, because here in Canada we won't have anything about it on the media except what they want, the mainstream information. So so interesting. I'm getting that there is an operation going on there connected to the children. I'm hearing missing children.
Wow.
And that there's been such suppression in that country for so long that even though it looks really horrible on the outside, that it's actually going to bring them freedom and abundance as well. So I think I had heard, and you guys correct us as well, type it in caps. I think I had heard that many of the locals have just gotten fed up with the current regime. And that's kind of how it started.
Probably, right? Yeah.
And I also, I remember this happening before, like maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like we didn't have the internet. Somebody, this is when we used to have undercover journalists that would be in all these countries while the story broke, and they would get film footage of it. So it's definitely about money, about resources. It's definitely about things that have been going on that are not good for anybody, as well as like the feminine. The final message is actually positive. 4 of Swords, like we're not to give any anxiety or stress to this scenario. Say prayers, send light, create a grid for them, but it looks like they're going to be okay in general.
Yeah, I was looking through GPT. I'm reading your match, so I'm looking down, guys. It says, what's going on right now? context for conspiracies. It says nationwide protests and government crackdown. It says major anti-government protests have erupted across 31 provinces in Iran. They started in late December 2025 with economic grievances, high inflation, collapsed banks, currency crash, water shortages, and basic living costs get quickly spread to broader anti-regime calls. The government has responded with brutal force, lethal weapons, snipers, mass detentions, so far resulting in thousands of deaths and tens of thousands of arrests. And also, Iran imposed an almost total internet blackout to hinder communications and reporting outside of the country. So they did a blackout because they don't want people reporting on this. Former U.S. President Trump has publicly encouraged protests and warned of serious consequences for violent crackdowns, which Tehran views as foreign meddling. These real-world tensions create fertile ground for conspiratorial thinking because both sides accuse the other of hidden interference. The Iranian government blames the U.S. and Israel, while some Western commentators warn Tehran provoking the U.S. into a bigger conflict.
And the high priestess came in, so they actually want it to be hidden, whatever's going on behind the scenes right now. So whatever information we're getting, that's great. But there's another bigger operation that they want. That's why the internet's down. They want it to be hidden right now. So there's always more, as we know, there's always more going on.
I covered this with Indy too a little bit, and like she thinks it's a like an overthrow of the Islamic State, like it might be like that they're tired of that government, that dictatorship,
Yes, that's what I heard as well. And even I ran into a local here. We were just chatting even about Venezuela and he said don't buy. This is so funny because he's not like. He doesn't know about any of this stuff. I tried to talk to him about UFOs one day and his eyes just rolled in the back of his head. But he just said to me, don't buy into all the media, because he said he's from Nicaragua. And he said the locals in Venezuela are so happy about what's happened. They feel free and they feel like
that's great.
Yeah. So that was good. And I said to him, well, I don't listen to mainstream news anyway. But he said that's why he left Nicaragua and came to Canada, because the same thing. Dictatorship and control over the people and suppression and all of that. And then I said to him, well, what do you think about what's going on in Canada? He goes, it's still not as bad as Nicaragua. But at least he knew, right? Like we're all very aware, like there's going to be some kind of level of suppression in our reality for sure. Yeah.
We had another super chat. This one was from Emma the Cat and Friends. And Love and Light, if you have a question, put it in the chat. Unless she just donated just to donate. But she says, do you think there are aliens influencing trying to bring in new dental technology, regrowing teeth? If so, when will it be phased out? A lot of people are having dental problems. Like, I think that's because of the lack of the minerals in our water and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It seems like more and more people.
Crazy. I was just talking to a soul sister about this at dinner the other night. She thought it was alien technology, and I said, ET. I said it could be, but I said I have been seeing advertisements about regrowing teeth. Now I've known about this for a long time because our teeth are structural; they're bones. So in theory, they can be regrown, but it's just that we need the right technology to do that, right? So to bring in new technology for regrowing teeth, let's ask about that. Because when I was talking to my friend about this, she thought it was to do with the med beds, and I went, no, this is something new. And I feel like it's something that has been suppressed for a long time. I feel like they have known about this for a long time, and that the dental industry is such a big industry, right? So and the teeth problems, because the teeth are connected to all of our meridians, and they are sometimes the light will be so strong coming in that it will impact all of our teeth. We'll have because our skull, all of it, it's all connected. It's all bone.
Yeah. I even heard for targeted individuals, when they target people, they do something, when they hit the frequencies through the ears, it causes problems with the jaw and teeth, so a lot of targeted individuals have their teeth all out,
Oh, I bet. Yeah. So that's what we were talking about just the stress and the frequencies as well. Okay. So it was, King of Cups. So it was part of what we were just saying, not the growing. It was part of the matrix and the shadow governments, the dark ETs, to not allow that information to come out.
Yeah.
And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So that is a potential for that to be very mainstream this year. And it's been, because we were just talking about that, it's like the hospitals, the dentals, like these are all big organizations, global organizations that have agreed to do A, B, and C, and then receive, money for all these sorts of things. So it looks like that's coming to an end, and that there's going to be a more positive options for our teeth, which will be amazing. And then we've got the strength card, the Leo card. So yeah, that's been a big, it's been very harmful for us as humanity. That's what the fluoride in the water has been about. And by the way, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. It's
Entertainment purposes only, but that's why the fluoride ended up in the water as well, to start to make everything fragile too. So I do know, and again, everybody go do your own research. You can go and actually find remineralizing products now to help as well. Oh, there was something else that just came in. Because we all know, like, as connected to the galactics, there's way more advanced technology than what we've been dealing with, and some of these industries have just been taking forever to evolve, and I think we can see they don't want to evolve, or they've been told not to evolve, right? So that's interesting to me. And then the other thing, I saw something the other day and I thought, so I know this technology is real, but we don't have a real version of it yet. There's an advertisement. I did some research because I got so excited about that. I think they're called blue glasses, or so there are these they don't work. Unfortunately, I did research, but these glasses that just adapt to your eyes. So so you don't need a prescription anymore. You can just wear these glasses. You can see close up. You can see clear while you're driving. It blocks out the UV. I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. So when I looked into it, though, unfortunately, the product that they're selling right now is fake. It doesn't work, even though it's on Amazon. And it's been told that it works. But I finally found a guy who actually bought a pair for his mom, and he tried them out, and unfortunately they don't work. But I do know they have that technology, so that's exciting to me. So I feel like that's even like kind of a intel drop that's coming.
Yeah, and there's this thing I've been using for teeth. There's something called hydroxyapatite. Like Arizona Raven, shout out to Arizona Raven. She put this in the chat too, but I actually use the hydroxyapatite because I had problems with my top teeth, but they're okay now. But I think I have a cavity in the one. But anyway, what I was saying was, what this hydroxyapatite does is, like, they put it in a lot of like alternative toothpaste or like fluoride-free toothpaste. But it helps seal the little, like, minuscule cracks in your teeth.
Oh, good.
So like so your teeth don't crack, And it's supposed to be like groundbreaking technology, Like, but
and I feel there's so much of it that needs to come out now, and maybe that's what they have to do. They just kind of have to drop it like intel so that we start to remember about it. But yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense that we would have technology that would be able to do that for sure. And again, for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because remember YouTube got bent out of shape because that one time I was promoting silver toothpaste. They took my channel down.
We don't want that for sure.
So just a joke, YouTube. By the way, I got paid from YouTube today. How funny is that? Like, they finally sent me my AdSense pin, and I got a small payment from YouTube. So that's great.
That's amazing. I know it takes a long time to get everything back, so that's fantastic. Yeah.
This is the next question. This is a good one too. This is from Love Light. She says, "Can you please pull a card on thyroid cancer and radiation exposure in young children due to abductions?"
Oh wow!
Thank you, sister and brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great question too, because children are abducted by aliens and military, and when they're taken on craft, they could be getting radiation burns, and
or it could be some processes they're being put through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a great question. Yeah.
So we have the King of Wands. We have the Strength card. We have the Death card. And again, this isn't about death, okay? So it looks like whatever was happening with this is going to be coming to an end, and it will be coming to an end this year. We have the Strength card, and that the councils that are, this is what's been so hard about being here. The councils are, that was actually part of the 3i Atlas mission. So they weren't just collecting scientific data. They have been collecting like what's been going on with the kids.
Yeah.
And they needed to be here close to get more information about what's happening with the natives, right? So it is going to be coming to an end, thank goodness, right? I think the sooner like all of that gets exposed and everybody on the planet knows about all of this, that will make it so much easier as well. When I did that client reading yesterday, I'm not getting that the Greys are around anymore.
Yeah.
And I also got the message that when the Greys were going through abductions, they weren't doing it maliciously. They had an agreement with certain governmental bodies down here to do that. Plus the people that were going through abductions also had kind of an agreement with, they had certain DNA. So the Greys were kind of going through like a process of their species was dying. And they were being given an opportunity to try and extract some DNA to help their species. But I got that they're not doing that anymore, that they're not around. Yeah, we got the 7 of Cups. So it is still an issue on like just the 3D reality. It is happening on a certain timeline. But it's coming to an end. Yeah. So it potentially individuals who don't know what's going on, can't see, can't hear, could still be going through that process, but it's not, it's going to be coming to an end, which is good. Yeah. I know, I think that's one of the hard things, everybody, is that once I woke up to a lot of this, you can't turn it off anymore. So you can't just go back to love and light. You can't just like not realize like everything that's been going on, how many horrific things on the planet have been happening, especially to the kids. So yeah, I think that's one thing we all can agree on. We all want that to end for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I don't think that they've been abducted. Like, I don't think it's off-planet abductions anymore. I think it has more to do with the tunnels and all of that. Let me just pull a couple of cards about that. Like, are there still off-planet abductions? I don't think that there are. 4 of Pentacles. I want to do clarification around that. No, we got the Knight of Wands. So no, it's been flipped now. So if anything's happening, it's just happening here on the planet. Quarantined.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. I think we had a lot of contracts with a lot of the dark ET groups that have been dissolved over the last 5 years. Like, there's still, reptilians, there's still Dracos, there's still a bunch of things going on, but it's getting squeezed now. It's like less and less and less. And the groups that have agreed to those agreements, they're getting pushed out as well. So.
Yeah. This has been an amazing show. I'm trying to think. I have another show at 5:30. But is there anything else you wanted to cover before we finish up? Or
I can't remember what else was on the thumbnail. What was on there?
Just 2020. Oh, we didn't do 2026 predictions.
So okay. Well, does anyone have a question? Well, we did a little bit. We did the med beds, and we did. We did the teeth technology. What else did we do? Yeah. Does anybody have a question? Do you want to ask anything? I think, and we just did the alien abduction.
Or yeah, put your predictions for 2026 in the chat, guys. Like, let's hear what you guys think is going to happen. I'd love to hear what people think is going to. I haven't really done anything like this. I mean, we did it once, but like.
Well, everybody was so quiet. We didn't have any questions. The questions have been way better today. So well.
I know nobody called in. Everybody asked their questions through the chat. I was like. It's like weird. It's like sometimes I'll get a lot of calls, and then sometimes I don't get hardly any.
Yeah. Does anyone have a burning? Yeah, we looked at the moon. Does anyone have? Oh, we didn't look at disclosure.
Yeah.
For this year. So you can go through the comments, Rob, and see if there's anything else. But I was just going to say, will we have like full disclosure where all of the planet knows that there's more going on out there than we've been told? Like the 40 planets, and that the moon is fake.
Yeah, really, right.
So we have the King of Cups. We have the Ace of Swords. Oh, and we have the 7. So the 7 of Cups and the King of Cups has been coming forward. So there's still some timelines that are not ready for this information yet, but we're moving out of like the matrix energy. That's what we're coming out of. So we have potential for Ace of Swords. We have potential for a lot more information to come out this year and be accepted. So that's great. That's great news. So we have potential, but yeah, there's still, I mean, I can see the whole thing with 3i Atlas. There were so many people just saying, oh, it's just a comet. Of course, yeah. If you want it to be a comet, that's good. You can't have it be a comet, but you know, it's just it's still around, and it's just so interesting to look and connect in with some energy that's so different from what we're used to. So potential for a lot more information to come out this year. So everyone keep doing your work, and then we still have some timelines that aren't ready for that yet. Yeah. I don't know if I ever shared with you. So a million years ago, when I was meditating at the pyramids, and I just started meditating, but I went through every day and I was getting a lot of downloads. And this is in the 90s. And I remember just saying, why can't you just land the ships? Like, why can't you just land the ships in the Middle East? And then everybody will know that you exist. And the message I got right away was, we can't. It'll just create so much chaos on the planet.
Wow, yeah.
Because there's been so much quarantine and for so long. Like, look at how, I mean, it's 2026 and look at how we're still like, you know, pushing the cart up the hill. We're still trying to, that's why I like to ask people, what do you think about UFOs? Because I like to see where they're at.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Because you never know. Yeah, some people can be still like completely like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know, like completely like normie. Like they're not you know, read into any of this stuff. But then a lot of people are waking up, so it is good to kind of test like the waters and see where people are, you know. It gives you an idea of like how many people are more waking up, and you know, like where you know, because don't we have to have like a certain percentage for them to? Did you ever hear that they said we have a certain percentage of people like awake for them to, you know, disclose fully or something like that? Do you believe that?
Yeah, and I feel like that's what they're monitoring. I feel like that was part of their monitoring. Like they'll drop these pieces of information and just see around the world, like what areas light up, you know. So I mean, I think the other really cool thing about what you do and what we're doing is that we are making it easier for people to share their experiences, and not be afraid about it. Because like, you know, 10, 15 years ago, you think about even Bob Lazar trying to share the information about what was going on in Area 51, and like he, you know, he was being threatened. He couldn't tell all the regular people. And so there's been a lot of pressure from a lot of the groups that have been wanting to suppress this for a long time.
Yeah. We had one more question. This is from the Andromeda, and I like to get his questions in. He just wants to know if he has any messages from the Andromedan Council. Are you feeling anything from him?
I'm going to just ask. We'll just ask in general, what does the Andromedan Council want to share with all of us? For sure. Because I have family in the Andromedan. I was going to say Andromeda. I can't remember if I showed this last time. The Andromedan, I did have an Andromedan light ship come into the area recently. It was huge.
Wow.
It was huge. Yeah. So let's see what they want to share. So we got the Hanged Man. We have the Knight of Cups. And we have the Moon. Oh, that's super interesting. So they're kind of sharing the same kind of information about the Moon, that they haven't been able to connect with as many of us as they've wanted to because of the Moon frequency. So that Moon frequency, that was a real plan to yard that thing in, because it was a massive signal disruptor, not only for us, but all of our star families as well, for trying to communicate with us and for keeping us in a low vibration. So we're coming out of that now. This is the uncomfortable hangman, the waiting room. So we're coming out of that energy right now. And they're letting me let you know, and all of us know, if you have an Andromedan connection, you're going to be able to have like more of that connection this year. So that's good. So that's because the Moon is being we could either say stabilized or destabilized. It's being adjusted so that there's less, you know, like we talked about, you're trying to tune into a radio station and you haven't been able to because there's been this weird static that's been really heavy. So they're working on adjusting that. And I'm almost wondering, Rob, did you hear that there was another moon? Like NASA made that comment.
No, I didn't hear that. What
They
is
won't
it?
talk. They won't talk about 3i Atlas, but they made this comment like, "Oh, we're going to have a second moon." Really? Don't we need a bit more information than that? Like moons don't just pop up.
Yeah, really.
Oh, the other thing we didn't talk about, we can talk about next time. See, this 3-letter agency that starts with C, they declassified and made, or sorry, they made 3i Atlas classified.
Wow. Holy shit, they made 3i Atlas classified?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Within the last week. So why did they do that?
That's crazy.
That'll be my final. Let's wrap that up with that. Let's just ask
Yeah.
why did they classify that as like top secret?
Yeah.
If it's just a comment.
Yeah.
I meant to send it to you in your messenger. You may not have gotten it. I don't think I sent it. I meant to. 5 of Wands. There's too much going on. 5 of Wands. We have the 8 of Pentacles. And we have, the Devil card showed up. There you go. So that means that agency is still connected to the matrix and the dark forces. And their part of their MO is to keep us all in the dark, literally.
Yeah.
They don't want us looking up at the sky. They want it all to go away. So they want, they just want everybody to be like the worker bees down here, just do, survival mode, just don't pay attention to what's out there. It's just a comet. It's nothing. So that's it. So they're still perpetuating that agenda. And then 5 of Wands is like it's shifting a little bit because we're shifting it, because we're going, no, I want to know what's going on with 3 Atlas. I want to ask about that, right? But I even have to we've talked about this before, I have to be careful. Even I have a separate project on ChatGPT that I ask about 3i Atlas, or I go to Grok, because I find if I ask too many questions, the back end gets lit up and they freeze my project. So, I'm paying for my project. That means I have to keep training my assistant. So forget it.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I feel the same way about my ChatGPT. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, this has been amazing, and I can't wait for. We have another show, guys, on the 28th, and we'll tackle more of these subjects then. And and do you want to tell everybody where to find you? And thanks, Bella. This was awesome.
Yeah, I think my website's under my name.
Oh wait, let me take the comment down. Sorry. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, thanks everyone. This is great. It was great to be here for sure. And you can, if any of you want to work with me, find out your Starseed origins. I've got a Starseed origin package right now where you have a Zoom call. We go through it all. The origins is just a PDF reading. That really hot thing right now is I have mini mentorships to get you going this year with Year of the Horse coming up. And I've got 2 spots left for that. So you just email me about all those details. I've got tons of new things that I'm offering right now to help everyone. Like Year of the Horse, this is our time, everyone. Like we all came in to do something, and whatever that is for you, my role is to help you as best I can. That's what I came in to do, is to get everybody with the program. I just want to wrap up with this. I had that call that I had yesterday in Australia, Northern Australia, and he might be watching. That was a real return moment, because I lived in Australia. I traveled around the whole continent, and we worked it out that I was already doing grid work and I didn't even know that I was doing grid work. So he started to go through some experiences when I was in his area.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we finally connected yesterday, and I was able to bring some pieces of the puzzle for him about, why he's here and what some of the things, that he's not crazy and all of this, that he's very, very much connected as a starseed. So that was really cool to me, because when I was there, it was in the 80s. And I had no idea that I was doing grid work at all.
Yeah.
And the other thing that came out of it was he's a real seer. So he started to see all the dark ETs early. And that would really scare somebody if you didn't even know who you were or what you were doing here or how they knew about, us. So anyway, we got that all sorted out, but it was a real closing moment, because I was just shown what I was actually doing in Australia, and I thought I was just traveling.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and that's on your YouTube. People can check it out, or where'd you?
No, that was just, I haven't even talked about it yet. That was through a client session yesterday. So yeah,
wow.
that's a good idea. But yes, please check out my YouTube. I did bring in a bunch of information this week, but yes, I'm going to have to. Oh, I started my series on Rumble to do with the famous people.
Oh, that's awesome.
So last week I brought in a transmission from Elvis. And the crazy thing is it was the anniversary of his birthday. And I didn't even know that. I just was like, he just tuned in to me. So I did a Rumble read for him about why he's connected to the comets. He is connected to the 3-Eye Atlas. I also asked him what, he left the day after the WOW signal.
Wow.
And I wanted to know if he was connected to that. And he said he wasn't aware of it when he was here, but he did use that frequency to exit.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. So someone suggested Michael Jackson next. So I'll give you an update when I see you next.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, this was awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys. I'll be over on Andrea's channel in a couple minutes. And thank you.